And that brings me to what you guys have to say about this economy, because people are making some serious sacrifices to stay afloat right now. I want to go over with you the top 10 things that people are doing and giving up right now just to be able to get by. And the number one thing that you guys said, people who watch this channel, you say that cutting back on food and groceries is the top sacrifice you're making. One viewer comment said, grocery shopping used to be fun. Now I just walk the aisles with a calculator and put things back every trip. I mean, that's what it's coming down to for a lot of people, because the prices at the store are just completely out of control. And a lot of items that used to be affordable no longer are. And especially if you like to eat healthy, it is becoming very expensive to eat healthy if you're trying to buy organic produce and grass-fed beef and things like that. The prices of these items are absolutely through the roof right now. The second sacrifice people are making is driving less and cutting fuel costs, staying home and delaying car repairs and minimizing errands that need to be run. One person says, I barely leave the house anymore because I can't afford gas to drive to work and see my family. The third thing you guys say you're doing is selling belongings to get cash. Selling furniture, jewelry, tools, anything that's not nailed down, anything of real value right now to get a little extra money. That's why you see the pawn shops exploding in business right now. This person says, I sold my tools and furniture on Marketplace just to cover bills. I never thought I'd be pawning my life away. Well, I'm sure a lot of people never thought they would be in this position, but nobody ever thought inflation was going to be this bad this quickly. It's kind of a surprise for everyone. The fourth thing is delaying medical care and prescriptions. Things like postponing doctor visits and not getting all the prescriptions that you need. One person says, I'm skipping doctor visits and stretching my meds. I'm gambling with my health because I don't have a choice. I mean, honestly, it really makes me sad to hear that so many people are going through this right now. And it's mostly no fault of their own. Like, people were doing okay for the most part before inflation got out of control. And it's just sad to see how quickly people's lifestyle and quality of life are going down because of it. Number 5 is not saving for retirement and withdrawing from savings accounts, as well as tapping into 401k accounts. This person says, I cashed out my 401k to survive, and now I have nothing for the future. I feel robbed of the life I've worked for. Well, that's just it, right? Everybody was told, well, you just start a retirement account and you start saving for the future, you invest for the long run, and one day you'll be able to retire. And that might have worked before we had double-digit inflation, before wages have absolutely collapsed, and at the same time, cost of living has skyrocketed. So that traditional advice hasn't worked for people anymore, and any little bit that people have saved has now had to be cashed out just to be able to live. And we've seen a record amount of people right now borrowing against their 401k, making withdrawals, all kinds of stuff just to stay afloat. The sixth sacrifice is reducing energy usage, not using the air conditioning or the heat, taking cold showers, dimming the lights or turning off a bunch of lights, or even removing light bulbs from light fixtures so they use less energy. This person says, we only run the AC when it's unbearable. Lights off most of the day. Power bill is a bigger fear than the heat. Well, this is definitely something that's hitting home with a lot of people right now, considering electric bills have gone up more than 30% in the past few years, far outpacing the official rate of inflation. And I've been talking a lot about recently how these AI data centers are cropping up all over the place and increasing people's power bills to the point where they can't afford the bill anymore. Some people's power bills are even more than their homeowner's insurance. It's more than a mortgage payment sometimes. Number 7 is not traveling and canceling vacations. Gas prices plus tighter budgets equals no more fun trips for a lot of people, as well as the cost of plane tickets as well, and hotel and travel. This person says, vacations, I can't even afford a day off. Well, I think that pretty much sums it up for a lot of people out there. Number 8 is cutting discretionary spending, not spending money on movies, restaurants, or streaming services. This person says, I canceled every subscription and I don't go anywhere. My life is work, home, sleep, and repeat. Now, one thing I'll just say before I finish the list is that as bad as all this sounds, I'm assuming that for a lot of people, these sacrifices are going to be temporary. It's not like everybody's going to be forced to continue making these sacrifices indefinitely, so long as they do something about it and try to improve their situation. I've heard from a couple of my viewers that have said, well, Michael, not everybody wants to be rich. Not everybody wants to, make a lot of money and all of this. Some people just want to live, a traditional, normal lifestyle and be happy with what they have. And that's fine. There's nothing wrong with that. But if you're struggling to the point where you're making these sacrifices just to stay afloat, you have to question, is that really the right move? If you can live a modest lifestyle on your current income, then fine. But clearly a lot of people are losing that ability right now. Number 9 is people are moving in with family and living with roommates. Multi-generational households are becoming the new normal again. This person says, I'm 45, living in my parents' basement again, not because I'm irresponsible, but because of the economy. In fact, I talked about how we have a record amount of 18 to 24-year-olds living at home. Over 57% of them are living with mom and dad right now because they can't afford it. And sometimes even much older, like this person at 45. And the 10th thing that people are doing to survive this economy right now are working extra jobs and taking on side hustles. This person says, I'm doing DoorDash after my full-time job just to keep up. I'm exhausted and still falling behind. And there's only so many hours people can work. People need time to recover. People need time to sleep. People need time to just be a human. You can't be a robot and work every single moment of your waking life, guys. That leads to burnout real quick and can be a disaster. So a lot of people aren't being lazy. They just can't find enough work or get paid enough doing the work that they're doing to make it happen right now. And that's why I believe we are going to see a situation in our economy where we might actually have some deflation. Eventually, once the buying power collapses, once you have a lot of people that can't afford to buy the normal things anymore, it will have no choice but prices coming down because the demand will fall. And if these companies want to stay in business, they're going to have to lower prices with everything.